Please stand for the invocation to be led by Member Roberto Cabarrubias. Let us put ourselves in the holy presence of God. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Dear Father, we thank you for everyone gathered here today. Thank you that you have caused us to walk with you. We say that we are dependent on you, and our trust is in you completely. As we surrender ourselves in adoration, we ask that you would come by your Holy Spirit and inspire our hearts today. Come fill our lives with your love. Fill our conversations with your grace and truth. Fill this meeting with your presence. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Morning. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Honorable Nandelhans Avelia, Honorable Cicinio Andales, Honorable Nestor Archival Sr., Honorable Alvin Arcilia, Honorable Roberto Cabarrubias, Honorable Marianida Cabrera, Honorable Gerardo Carrillo, Honorable James Anthony Cuenco, Honorable Alvin Dizon, Honorable Eugenio Gabuya Jr., Honorable Leia Hapson, Honorable Margarita Osmeña, Honorable Richard Osmeña, Honorable Mary Ann de los Santos, Honorable David Tumulak, Honorable Noel Eleuterio Wenceslao, and Honorable Philip Zafra. There are 9 members of this august body who are present today, Mr. Chair.
With 10 members, including the chair, this council has sufficiently achieved the quorum requirement, and therefore it can validly transact business in today's session. Madam Secretary, what's the next order of business?
Item E, reading of the minutes of the previous regular session held on April 20, 2016, and let's dispense with an approval of the same.
Madam Majority Leader, Member Osmeña, please.
Yes, Mr. Chair, good morning. Good morning to you, and good morning to my colleagues and to all of those who are here today. I move to dispense the reading of the minutes of the regular session held last April 20, 2016, and approve the same, Mr. Chair.
There is an omnibus motion of the Majority Leader to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the previous session and for the approval of the same. Is there any second? Seconded by Member Hapson. Discussion, objection, there being none, the motion is carried. Madam Secretary, what's the next order of business?
Item F, public hearing on the following matters. For item number 1, we have the proposed ordinance sponsored by Member Marianida Cabrera entitled, An Ordinance Further Amending Section 3 of City Ordinance Number 1636, otherwise known as an ordinance creating the Bantai Dagat Commission of Cebu City for the purpose of developing and implementing livelihood projects for marginal fishermen, conserving and protecting the marine and aquatic resources within the city, enforcing all the existing fishery and aquatic laws, laws governing marine pollution, rules and regulations, thereby eradicating illegal fishing practices and appropriating funds therefore.
Do we have speakers, Madam Secretary?
Yes, Mr. Chair. We have one speaker, Mr. Chair.
Before we call on the speaker, may we request the proponent, Member Cabrera, to please give us an insight of what this proposed legislative intervention is all about. Member Cabrera, you have now the floor.
Yes. Good morning to the members of this august body. Mr. Chair, The proposed ordinance primarily aims to amend the composition of the Cebu City Bantai Dagat Commission by adding 3 vital offices, namely, number 1, City Market Authority, number 2, Department of Veterinary Medicine and Fisheries, and number 3, the Cebu City Environment and Natural Resources Office. The additional composition is pursuant to the request of the Cebu City Bantai Dagat Commission and aims to strengthen its function of developing, implementing, adapting, and launching livelihood and other socio-economic projects and activities to uplift the living conditions of the marginal fisher folk of Cebu City, and implementing and enforcing all existing fishery and aquatic laws. This includes the implementations and monitoring of City Ordinance Number 2447, approved on January 13, 2016, mandating the registrations and licensing of fisher folk, fishing vessels, fishing gear in the city of Cebu. Other underlined portion in the proposed amendments are, number 1, correction in the name of SPI Committee from SPI Committee on Barangay Tanods to SPI Committee on Public Order and Safety. And number 2, emphasizing that the non-government organization or people's organizations or cooperative represented in the commission must represent the fisher folk.
Thank you, Member Cabrera. Madam Secretary, can we now call on the lone speaker, as you said?
Excuse me, Mr. Chair. We have already 2 speakers, Mr.
Two
Chair.
speakers.
Yes, but our first speaker is Mr. Romeo Trazona of the Panaghugpong sa mga mananagat sa Dakbayan sa Sugbo or Pamadaso.
Mr. Romeo Talasona, you are recognized. Take the podium.
Hello, may buntag.
May
Honorable Chairman Lavilla. May buntag sa mga honorable karon nga nanambong aning sesyon. Sa dili pa ko mo hatag sa akong kuwan ako saning ipaila ang akong kuwan sa usa ka leader sa mananagat. Panaghugpong sa mananagat Dakbayan sa Sugbo, Pamadaso Incorporated, address Barangay Basak, San Nicolas City. Kaning akong gibasa karon, previous na ni nga akong kuwan, bro. Ako lang i-kuwan karon kay uwam ko'y pagsupak aning mga kuwan karon sa 2447, pero ako na lang ning i-review sa pagkarong buntaga para mga segunda. Okay. Pasiun na. Ako si Romeo Trazona, insakto edad, nagpuyo sa Basak, San Nicolas, Cebu City. Usa ako ka presidente sa mananagat. O gitawag, panaghugpong sa mananagat sa Dakbayan sa Sugbo, Pamadaso Incorporated. O ako usa ka membro sa BDC, Bantai Dagat Commission, isip usa ka representante sa mga mananagat. Katarungan, kaming gagmayng mananagat sulod sa Cebu City, uyon kami nga implementing sa City Ordinance fishing restriction ug sa mga penalty. Number 2, aron maklaro ang tanang nga mananagat sulod sa Cebu City ug unsay iyang klase sa pagpanagat. Number 3, ug among maprotektahan ang among marine life, natural resources sulod sa Cebu City Municipal Water nga dili kami masudlan og lain-lain nga mananagat labi na og dili taga Cebu City. Number 4, kadtong mga mananagat nga muintra og illegal sa pagpanagat labi na og makig transaksyon ngadto sa grupo sa sindikato nga gamiton ang ilang unit sama sa sakayan og pambut nga maoy kargahanan og mga kontrabando butang labi na shabu ang ginadili
Mr.
nga
Chair.
drugas.
Yes, Member Cabrera.
Yeah.
Mr. Trazona, Ang imong gisgutan ang atong bag-ong ordinansa nga na-approve atong January ang fishing registrations.
Oo.
Karon ang atong pagahisgutan ang Ordinance number 1636 nga nag-usab, nag-amindar sa pagpuno sa atong compositions, no? Nga gi-appeal na nato ang opisina sa Senro o sa DBMF, Veterinary Medicine,
Excuse ka, Madam Cabrera.
Market Authority.
Kaya akong gikuptan nga notice of kaning 2447 ang
Humanang mantaan na.
o mo lagi niya. Sahit saan ang mga imong gikuan karon, wa ko'y furnace copy nga nadawat. Mao bitaw na nga. Sa akong pag-ari,
Sige, atong pangutanon ang sekretariat unsa ang imong ang gipadani nila nimo dili mao.
kay sa among kasabutan karon ni Edward Cabras, siya ra ko mo hatag og open.
Sige. So okay ra wa kay pagsupak ako na lang pangutanon Vice. Okay. Wa kay
Member Cabrera.
pagsupak nga atong punan ang atong compositions diin naamang ka, miyembro man ka no sa Bantai Dagat Commission. Base sa request sa mga commissioner nga punan nato i-appeal nato ang DBMF, ang Sendro ug ang atong Market Authority. Wa ba kay pagsupak niini?
Wala madam. Okay ko.
Sige.
Okay.
So kana ra siguro kay ang imong gisgutan na-approve naman to siya.
Sige ako nabihayin bi ko ani.
Sige.
Nabihayin ko. Sorry kayo Mr. Chairman. Sige, thank you.
Dili na sa mo. Dili, you don't have to be
Thank
sorry.
you kayo, thank you.
Sige, salamat. Salamat kayo.
Mr. Chair, i-take note lang palihog ang sa secretary nga nasayop tagpadala sa notice.
We really sent the correct one, Mr. Chair, but maybe he wasn't able to read it.
Anyway, sige.
Our next speaker.
Has already manifested his support for the proposed measure of Member Cabrera. So, who's the next speaker, Madam Secretary?
Our next speaker is Mr. Eddie Cabras of the Program Director of Bantai Dagat.
Mr. Cabras, you have now the floor. You're recognized.
Good morning, Mr. Presiding Officer, Honorable Edgar Revilla, to all the members of this honorable body. May I extend my heartfelt greetings. I am Eduardo Cabras, the Program Director of Bantai Dagat Commission. And in relation to the addition of three offices to comprise the composition, to comprise the Bantai Dagat Commission, I am totally in agreement. Considering the fact that in our operation, we get into inspection of fish in the market, so it is but upright and appropriate for the Market Operation Division to be considered one of the members of the Commission. And in relation to the DBMF, previously, and almost every time there is a market denial being implemented in our markets, previously the veterinary medicine was included. Only now that they were not attending anymore because they were not given the due notice. So I am also agreeable to its being a member of the Bantai Dagat Commission. And with the Cebu City Environmental Natural Resources Office, now it's being a department. We, the Bantai Dagat Commission, are under its umbrella. So, summarily, the head office should be part and parcel of the Bantai Dagat Commission board. That is all, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cabras. Any comment, any observation? So, you're excused now, Mr. Cabras. Member Cabrera, what's the pleasure?
Move to terminate, Mr. Chair.
There's a motion to terminate by the proponent, Member Cabrera, seconded by Member Osmeña. Discussion, objection, there being none, the motion is carried. Madam Secretary, please call the next item.
The next item for public hearing for today is the proposed ordinance of Member Alvin Dizon entitled, "An Ordinance Setting Every October as Ordinance Awareness Month in the City of Cebu and Providing Funds Therefore."
Do we have speakers, Madam Secretary?
There is none, Mr. Chair.
There's none. We will hear now from the proponent of this measure, Member Dizon. Please, you are now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone. Article 2 of the Civil Code of the Philippines provides that laws shall take effect after 15 days following the completion of their publication in the official gazette unless it is otherwise provided. According to the Supreme Court, the clear object of the above quoted provision is to give the general public adequate notice of the various laws which are to regulate their actions and conduct as citizens. Without such notice and publication, Mr. Chairman, there would be no basis for the application of the maxim, ignorantia lihis non exhausat. Ignorance of the law excuses no one. It would be the height of injustice to punish or otherwise burden a citizen for the transgression of a law of which he had no notice whatsoever, not even a constructive one, Tanyada versus Tovera. In order to ensure that people follow the law, they must know the law. However, our experience has shown us that constructive notice is not enough. Thus, to ensure full compliance of our laws, we must endeavor to inform as many constituents as possible about our local laws. Thus, this proposed ordinance, Mr. Chairman, aims to raise awareness and information on major ordinances enacted by the Sangguniang Panglungsod. This humble representation believes that the holding of an Ordinance Awareness Month is a mechanism to inform the people of our laws, strengthen people's participation in governance, provide a feedback mechanism on the relevance and effectiveness of our laws, and encourage public discourse on our laws. Mr. Chairman, my dear colleagues, I firmly believe that an informed citizenry is an empowered citizenry. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Dizon. Since there are no speakers who manifested their intention to make a presentation, may we hear from Member Dizon or any member of the council in connection with this public hearing on what's the pleasure now?
We know from the Secretariat who were invited to attend this public hearing.
We have invited the DILG, the Public Information Office, the Kaabag sa Sugbo, CCDC, Ma'am Belinda Navasquez of the Secretary to the Mayor, the Association of Barangay Councils, the Association of Catholic Schools of the Philippines, PTA Federation, City Administrator, and Ma'am Cynthia Kahulugan of the SP Secretariat, Mr. Chair.
Madam Secretary, do na ba ni-confirm?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Ang Kaabag sa Subo, Mr. Chair, they have confirmed to attend, but they're not yet here, Mr. Chair. Also, Engineer Enriquez also confirmed to attend. The officers of the Catholic schools also confirmed to attend. And Ma'am Cynthia Kahulugan, by the way, submitted a position paper, Mr. Chair.
But certainly, Madam Secretary, this was published in the newspaper of general circulation.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Apart from our SP Secretary, do na ba'y ni-sumiter lain sa ilang position papers, Madam
Only
Secretary?
one. There's none, Mr. Chair. Only one, Mr. Chair, position paper from SP.
Member Dizon, the proponent, what's now your intention?
I move now to terminate the public hearing
There's a
session.
motion to terminate from Member Dizon, seconded by Member Osmeña. Discussion, objection, there being none, the motion is carried. Madam Secretary, what's the next order of business?
We have, unless there are privileged speeches, Mr. Chair, but if none, then we have the committee reports, Mr. Chair. First, we have the
yes?
Committee on Laws.
Member Andales, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First committee report referred to Committee on Laws, Ordinances, and Public Accountability and Good Government for comments and recommendation. Therein proposed resolution of Metro Cebu Development and Coordinating Board to adopt, endorse, implement various communication and information programs, campaign, and tools, including but not limited to 1. Mega Cebu logo and other tools. 2. Mega Cebu Month. 3. Cebu Integrated Brand. 4. Mega Cebu Pwede Kaayo campaign with details as provided by the Mega Cebu Communication and Information Program outline, and further informing and directing the different heads of the departments, offices, units, and terms of City of Cebu of this resolution under guidance and compliance, requiring submission of the respective department, office, units, teams, plans of adoption, implementation 1 month after the passage of this resolution to the office of the mayor, and a copy to the SP/SB of City of Cebu and MCDCB through MCDCB Research Program and Organizational Development for their information reference. Comments and observation. The committee perused the draft of the proposed resolution of Metro Cebu Development and Coordinating Board, which seeks the support of the local government units to adopt, endorse, and implement various communication and information programs, campaign, and tools for the development programs of MCDCB. Considering the provisions and the intent of the proposed draft resolution, this committee notes the same. However, the committee would suggest that executive session be conducted on the intent of the draft proposed resolution to enlighten this august body on the details of the provisions of the draft resolution before the same be finally considered by this august body. Recommendation resolved to approve this committee report. Resolved further to note the draft proposed resolution. Resolved furthermore to hold an executive session on the draft proposed resolution. And finally, to authorize the Board Secretary to the Sangguniang Panglungsod to furnish copies of this report to the proponent, MCDCB, City Planning Office, and other concerned parties. So moved, Mr. Chair.
There's an omnibus motion of Member Andales, seconded by Member Hapson. Discussion, objection, there being none, the motion is carried.
Yeah, can we have the date of the executive session?
Member or Madam Secretary, please provide
Can
the
we
date.
have it on May 4, Mr. Chair?
Member Andales, May 4 would be fine
Yeah.
with you.
Can you invite the members of the Metro Cebu Development Coordinating Board to appear? And also Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
Please take note, Madam Secretary,
Noted, Mr. Chair.
on the personalities mentioned by Member
Last
Andales.
committee report, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Member Andales, please.
Referred to the Committee on Laws, Ordinances, and Public Accountability and Good Government for comments and recommendation. Therein proposed ordinance of Member Nestor D. Archival Sr., entitled, and I quote, an ordinance granting accidental death bar disbursement insurance benefits to barangay tanods and to provide funds thereof. Comments and observation. The committee notes the proposed ordinance, which sees the need to provide benefits for barangay tanods in Cebu City by granting them accidental death disbursement insurance in the performance of their duties. Paragraph D, Section 393 of the Local Government Code provides the all duly appointed members of the barangay tanods, brigades, and their equivalent, which shall number not more than 20, in each barangay shall be granted insurance and other benefits during their incumbency, chargeable to the barangay or the city or municipal government to which the barangay belongs. Considering the provision of the proposed ordinance, the committee finds the same to be within the power of the august body to enact. However, the committee would suggest to refer the provision of the benefits and appropriation to the Committee on Budget and Finance, and also a public hearing be conducted on the proposed ordinance to hear the sentiments of all the stakeholders. Recommendation resolved to approve this committee report. Resolved further to refer the provision on appropriation to the Committee on Budget and Finance for comments and recommendation. Resolved furthermore to conduct a public hearing on the proposed ordinance. And resolved finally to authorize the Board Secretary to the Sangguniang Panglungsod to furnish copy of this report to the proponent and other concerned parties. So moved.
There's an omnibus motion of Member Andales, seconded by Member Hapson. Discussion, objection, there being none, the motion is carried.
Can we have the date of public
Madam
hearing?
Secretary,
May 18, Mr. Chair.
May 18. That would be fine with you, Member Andales, May 18.
Yeah, but the Honorable Archibald Natara, I want to know who will be the invitees of that. We just reserve that. We just ask
Okay, take care.
Honorable.
Thank you. May 18 is fine. Next
Next.
item, is there any more?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we still have the committee report from the Committee on Education.
Committee on Education, Member Dizon, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Referred to the Committee on Education, Science, and Technology for comments and recommendation, the herein letter from the students of Cebu Eastern College concerning their unreleased allowances from the Cebu City Government. Comments and observations. In a letter dated March 17, 2016, 8 students from the Cebu Eastern College complained that they have not yet received their allowances even though the school year is about to end. Upon verification from the Cebu City Scholarship Office, the latter, through a letter dated April 20, 2016, informed the committee that the scholars' allowances were released and received by the students on March 29, 2016. In view of the foregoing, the committee requests the Cebu City Scholarship Committee and the Office of the Mayor to endeavor for the timely release of all the city scholars' allowances to ensure that they will be able to use it for their school needs. In view of the foregoing premises, Mr. Chairman, the committee recommends the following resolutions. Resolved to approve this committee report. Resolved further to authorize the Acting Secretary of the Sangguniang Panglungsod to furnish copies of this resolution to the Cebu City Scholarship Office for their information and guidance. So move, Mr. Chairman.
There's a motion of Member Dizon, seconded by Member Hapson. Discussion, objection, there being none, the motion is carried.
Next, committee report from the Committee on Budget and Finance.
Member Osmeña, please.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I have 2 reports.
Thank you, Member Osmeña.
Respectfully refer to the Committee on Budget and Finance for comments and recommendation the herein annual Gender and Development or GAD plan and budget for fiscal year 2016 as submitted by the City Budget Office. The committee noted the 16 items addressed in the annual GAD plan and budget for fiscal year 2016 with a total amount of 492,744,000. The committee further noted that the plan involves several offices and units that are responsible for the delivery of the results. These officers are, I will just not name them, Mr. Chair, because they're already in the report. The committee would like to find out if the above-mentioned offices are aware of the specific gender issues, output performances, indicators, and target, as well as the corresponding budget amounts. The committee would also like to find out how these items are incorporated in the revised proposed annual budget of 2016. We also noted that Joint Circular number 2012-01 of the Philippine Commission on Women, the National Economic and Development Authority, and the Department of Budget and Management prescribes that the form be prepared by the chairperson of the GAD focal point system. As observed in the form, the committee would like to be clarified on the role of Ms. Olani Marie and Bongato, Executive Assistant 2, in terms of the GAD program of the city. The committee further noted that the plan has not been approved by the DILG as required by the Joint Memorandum Circular 2013-01 by the Philippine Commission on Women with the DILG, NEDA, and the DBM last July 5, 2013. Recommendations to approve this report, to request the Office of the City Administrator to reply in writing to the concerns stated in this report, and finally to authorize the Acting Secretary of the SP to furnish copies of this report to the Office of the Mayor, Office of the City Administrator, and Ms. Olani Marie N. Bongato. I move for the approval, Mr. Chair.
There's an omnibus motion of Member Osmeña, seconded by Member Wenceslao. Discussion, objection. There being none, the motion is carried.
Second, Mr. Chair, I respectfully refer to the Committee on Budget and Finance for comments and recommendation the hearing endorsement of Dr. Lucille Mercado, City Administrator, submitting the local government units Peace and Order and Public Safety Plan as required for the revised annual budget for calendar year 2016. The committee noted that the total cost of the Community Public Safety Plan for 2016 amounts to $561,500,000. The total amount is composed of the following key result areas: illegal drugs, gambling, 30 million; traffic road safety, 500,000; crime against property, 21 million; street dwellers, 50 million; human trafficking, 500,000; violence against women and children, 500,000; unregistered firearms, 1 million; inaccessible road networks, 2 million; illegal destructive fishing, 10 million; informal settlers, 150 million; crime against person, 1 million; crime against environment, 100 million, and disaster preparedness, 195 million. The committee would like to find out that these identified KRAs or key result areas are incorporated in the proposed annual budget 2016. We further noted that the plan included national government agencies, the PNP, the NBI. The committee would like to know if they are fully aware of this public safety plan. Recommendations to approve this report: to request the city administrator to identify the relationship of the public safety plan to the annual budget 2016 by pointing out the account numbers where the items in the plan are incorporated. Resolved furthermore to authorize the acting secretary of the SP to send letters to the PNP and the NBI confirming their awareness of and participation in the local government units Peace and Order and Public Safety Plan. And finally, to authorize the Acting Secretary of the SP to furnish a copy of this report to the Office of the City Administrator. I move for the approval, Mr. Chair.
There's an omnibus motion of Member Osmeña, seconded by Member Wenceslao. Discussion, objection. There being none, the motion is carried.
Next, we have committee report from the Committee on Environment.
Member Cabrera, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Referred to the Committee on Environment is the proposed 300-megawatt coal-fired thermal power plant project by Ludo Power Corporation to be located at Barangay Sawang Calero, the city, per resolution number 13-2291-2016, adopted on April 6, 2016. Comments and observations. Public hearing. The public hearing on the proposed 300-megawatt coal-fired thermal power plant project to be located at Barangay Sawang Calero, the city, was held as scheduled on Sunday, April 17, 2016, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon at the Cebu City Sports Institute at Topaz Street, Barangay San Nicolas, in order to hear the views and sentiment of the constituent of Barangay Sawang Calero and nearby barangays. The public hearing, presided by the chairperson of the Committee on Environment, was attended by Honorable Nestor D. Archibald Sr., the vice chairperson of the Committee on Environment, Honorable Margarita B. Osmeña, committee member, Honorable Eugenio F. Gabuya, and Honorable Richard Osmeña. An estimated crowd of 5,000 from the different barangays attended the public hearing, which started with a presentation from the Ludo Power Corporation and followed by speakers both in favor and against the proposed project. Given the high tense situations on the noise inside the venue that made some exchanges unaudible, all parties were requested to submit their position papers within the week for consideration by the Committee on Environment, which it renders its report on this matter. Position papers. The following submitted their respective positions. Number 1, the proponent of the project, the Lodo Power Corporations. In favor of the project, Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry. 3, Philippine Exporter Confederation, PhilExport Cebu. Against the project, number 4, Ms. Kisha Salazar and Engineer Roel N. Militar. 5, Doctora Marinela C. Harena. 6, Father Roel Gumalay, Missionaries of the Poor. 7, Mr. Arnold Villarisa. 8, Mr. Rex John de los Reyes. And 9, Healthcare Without Harm, Asia. Highlights of the position papers. In its unsigned position papers submitted to the committee, chairperson, the proponent, Lodo Power Corporations, advances the following points. Number 1, the proposed project shall be undertaken in partnership with Tame Energy, a consortium in the Philippines composed of Tokyo Electric Power Corporations and Marubeni Corporations of Japan, which also established the 1,218 megawatt coal power plant in Sual, Pangasinan. Number 2, the proposed project shall adopt the latest state-of-the-art process in coal-fired thermal plant operations for far better than the technology utilized in the Sual power plant. Number 3, the proposed project will no longer pulverize coal at the site to minimize the possibility of dust emissions, but would import from Indonesia pulverized coal unloaded from bulk carriers and brought to the plant through covered conveyors with constant water spraying and contained in cellulose. 4, combustion byproducts such as coal ash and bottom ash are trapped as they pass through the system, collected into cellulose before they are brought through closed conveyors to barge and shipped the cement plant as additive in cement manufacturing. Nitrogen gases are reduced and contained by technology that will be used, while sulfur gases will be transformed into calcium sulfate that is used as gemstone additive to cement. Number 5, to produce steam that drives the turbines that run the generating seats. No water shall be drawn from the aquifers nor brought the water suppliers. Seawater shall be used instead through desalination plant installed inside the plant. Number 6, stakeholders' participation is guaranteed through the multi-partite monitoring team to ensure that the power plant adheres to the tolerable limits on smokestack emissions, noise, and other environmental considerations. The proponent also declares that the City Council has the power to post for the plant to cease and desist from operations once proven it has violated environmental rules. Number 7, the community stands to gain from the following potential benefits. A, allocation of 1 centavo per kilowatt hour to the host community, Sawang Calero, as well as immediate neighboring barangays such as Dolho Patima, Pahina San Nicolas, Suba Pasel, and Ermita. This 1 centavo per kilowatt hour at a generated capacity of 300 megawatt daily translate to 3,000 per hour, that is 72,000 per day, and 26,280,000 per year, which the proponent declare could be used for livelihood, infrastructure, and other development projects. B, formation of cooperatives among stakeholders capable of providing non-technical manpower to the plant that may be sourced out and at the same time supply the power plant facility with materials and services that are needed in its day-to-day operations. And C, establishment of comprehensive social development management program that will undertake community programs such as monthly medical livelihood, skill training, scholarship for senior citizens, high school, grade 11 and 12, and college, sports development, and other programs that benefit the young and old. Number 8, community support for the project as shown by the signature of more than 5,000 adults from Barangay Sawang Calero, Dolo Patima, Pahina, San Nicolas, Suba as attached for its position papers. For the Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry, it cited Cebu as the rising investment hub in the Asia-Pacific region and expressed support for the project provided that the proponent complies with the relevant environmental laws, decrees, orders, and rules before, during, and after the construction of the proposed coal-fired thermal power plant. For PEL Export Cebu, it expressed a similar sentiment in supporting the proposed project, citing the current expensive power cost as a dent to its members' competitiveness and welcoming the additional power to be generated under the project, provided that it is safe for the environment and the people. Aside from this submission, the committee also notes the favorable endorsement of Cebu City Health Department on the proposed project during the first public hearing on March 30, 2016, conducted by the Sangguniang Panglungsod of the City of Cebu on the subject matter. Likewise, the committee also notes the Barangay Council Resolution of Barangay Sawang Calero, Resolution Number 0015, Series of 2016, approved on February 22, 2016, and Resolution Number 0018, Series of 2016, approved on March 7, 2016, and Barangay Dulo Patima Resolution Number 16-0203, Series of 2016, approved in February 27, 2016, and Resolution Number 16-03045, Series of 2016, approved on March 8, 2016, favorably endorsing the proposed project, copies of which are furnished to the committee by the proponent. Accompanying this Barangay Council resolution is a copy of the documents entitled Public Scoping Document by the Ludo Power Corporations, which listed the issues and concern raised during the March 2, 2016 public scoping and shall be included in the scope of the environmental impact assessment study. The Office of the Committee Chairperson also received additional council resolution endorsing and supporting the project 1 from Barangay Pahina, San Nicolas, Resolution Number 04 2016-031, Series of 2016, on April 25, 2016, and another from Barangay Suba on April 26, 2016. On the other hand, the joint position paper of Ms. Kisia E. Salazar, a former barangay councilor of Barangay Sawang Calero, and Engineer Ruel Militar, an electrical engineer who heads the Department of Electrical Engineering of the University of San Jose Recoletos, and a Barangay Sawang Calero resident, enumerated the following grounds in opposing the project. Number 1, the proposed project is contrary to law, citing provision of the Philippine Clean Air Act, Republic Act Number 8749, SP Resolution Number 125644-2013, passed by the 12 Sangguniang Panglungsod of the City of Cebu, declaring a moratorium on the establishment of carbon-intensive and fossil-based technologies, the global consensus to reduce fossil fuels through the Paris Conference Parties COP21 agreement, the 1987 Philippine Constitution, and the City Ordinance Number 1656, otherwise known as the 1996 Revised Zoning Ordinance of the City of Cebu, which classifies or categorizes Barangay Sawang Calero and nearby barangays under Industrial 1 District, which allows only low-intensity industries, while power plants are allowed only in medium or high-intensity industrial zone in the City of Cebu. Number 2, it is hazardous to the environment, causing land, water, air, and noise pollution, citing a World Health Organization study warning that a continued reliance on coal combustion for electricity production will contribute to the predicted health hazard consequence of global warming. Number 3, it is detrimental to the health of the immediate resident in the nearby communities, citing the adverse health effects of coal emission to the human body. Number 4, there is no existing technology that can ensure the total capture of toxic byproducts. They mention a Greenpeace study in 3 facilities equipped with electrostatic precipitator that showed all samples were contaminated with rains of toxic and potentially toxic elements, including arsenic, chromium, lead, and mercury, while previous studies have determined that a significant proportion of the elements detected in the fly ash sample from these facilities can be readily leached from them, posing a threat to the receiving environment. And number 5, the unique socio-cultural circumstances present in Sawang Calero demonstrate the inapplicability and incompatibility of the proposal to construct a coal-fired power plant in the middle of densely populated area. The position paper cited barangay Sawang Calero, Suba, and Pasel in a unique cluster hosting the Pasel fish industry. Dried fish is sourced from these barangays. All sides adjacent to the proposed power plant is surrounded by residences, including the facility of the Ministry of the Poor and the Sawang Calero Elementary School. All of them, including the respective livelihood, are bound to be affected by the power plant operations. Number 6, contrary to claims, there are serious concerns as to the safety and efficiency of its plant. The Sowal and Pagbilao power plants are located in areas where there are no immediate residents nearby that are put to immediate rest. And even at this distance, these power plants are still being protested to by residents by causing environmental and health hazard. Number 7, the undeniable trend is toward a shift to renewable energy. The project proponent cites countries heavily dependent on coal-fired power plants, but as the position paper asserts, these countries have taken considerable steps to minimize dependence on coal because their dependence comes with heavy cost to health and environment. Dr. Marianela C. Harina, a barangay Sawang Calero resident for 15 years with 4 years of government medical service and who now serves as the junior pediatric consultant and works in Chongwa Hospital, Mandawi, and Mactan Doctors Hospital, said that we are now in the era of evidence-based medicine. She claimed that not a single study would tell of any health and environmental benefits from a coal-fired thermal plant from its mining to combustion and waste disposal. In contrast, Dr. Harina mentioned studies such as the one published in the medical journal, The Lancet, the 2015 Greenpeace Commission Harvard University study, including a case study conducted in the Visayas region, all pointing to the health hazard posed by generating electricity from coal. She also compared the location to the Suwal power plant in an isolated area vis-a-vis the proposed power plant of Lodo Power Corporation, which shall be situated in the very heart of a community with roughly 7,831 residents, even with an assurance from the project proponent for a regular monitoring of the power plant facility once established. Dr. Harines stressed the medical dictum that prevention is better than cure. Father Ruel Gumalay, MOP, narrated the operations by the missionaries of the poor of the pre-permanent shelter for special children called the Little Lamb Center, which is located beside the current Ludo facility, currently housing 40 children with special needs and also providing heaven for worship for hundreds of their neighbors who came during Wednesday and Sundays and serving as a place of refuge in times of calamities, a place of laughter. Expressed his opposition to the proposed coal-fired thermal plant in Barangay Sawang Calero. Mr. Arnold Villarisa and Mr. Rex John de los Reyes both expressed their opposition to the proposed 300-megawatt coal-fired thermal power plant and repeated the negative health impacts expressed by the oppositor over the operations of such power plant in a densely populated area. The Healthcare Without Harm, in its call for no to coal plant in Cebu City, sum up the whole gamut of arguments against coal plants, citing the agreement during the 21 Conference of Parties, COP21, of the United Nations Framework of Convention on Climate Change in Paris to limit the world's temperature rise to 2 degrees Celsius by transitioning to cleaner renewable energy, up to the consensus of the global health community to end coal, including the concurrence of the Philippine Medical Association to the Paris Platform for Healthy Energy that calls for ceasing the deadly and costly dependence on fossil fuel by eliminating fossil fuel subsidies, avoiding new coal projects, and phasing out coal-fired power generations. The committee also notes the oppositions to the proposed project registered by the Cebu City Environment and Natural Resources Office, CENRO, Sanlakas, Greenpeace Southeast Asia, and Sustainable Energy and Enterprise Development for Communities, SIDPORCOM, during the first public hearing on March 30, 2016, including the petition signed by residents of Barangay Sawang Caliro and submitted to this August body interposing objection to the proposed project. The committee further held a consultative meeting of stakeholders on Friday, April 22, 2016, inviting not only the contending parties but also several line agencies involved in the subject matter, such as the Department of Energy, Department of Health, and the Environment Management Bureau of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources Regional Office. Unfortunately, only the representative of the EMB Regional Office attended the meeting among the invited line agencies. Committee deliberations. Environmental impacts of a proposed project or development plays a central role in determining whether the project gets a favorable endorsement or not from this august body. The proposed coal-fired thermal power plant by Ludo Power Corporation has a generating capacity of 300 megawatt. Under current guidelines, a power plant capacity that surpasses a rated capacity of 30 megawatt is considered environmentally critical. Therefore, the proposed coal thermal power plant by Ludo Power Corporations with a capacity of 300 megawatt is an environmentally critical project and poses significant environmental impacts. After considering all the points raised in the proposed project, the committee interposes its objection to the construction of 300 megawatt coal-fired thermal power plant in Barangay Sawang Caliro and therefore denies the request of favorable endorsement based on the following grounds. Number 1, lack of social acceptability. Social acceptability is defined as the acceptability of project by affected communities based on timely and informed participations in the EIA process, particularly with regards to environmental impacts that are concerned to them. The petition submitted by residents of Sawang Caliro against the proposed and the position paper submitted by citizens living near the proposed plant site present a significant opposition to the proposed project. Parties who oppose the project point to the different set of conditions in the proposed site. Barangay Sawang Caliro, wherein thousands live nearby and only a concrete wall separates them from the proposed power plant, far different from conditions of other communities where power plants are located, such as in Sual, Pangasinan. While the proponent commit to adopt a state-of-the-art process in operating the proposed power plant, precaution tell us to err on the side of caution, if only to ensure the health and safety of our people and the environment from toxic waste. On the other hand, while the committee obtained copies of Barangay Council resolution from 4 barangays within the current Ludo facility, however, the said resolution purporting to endorse and support the proposed project are bereft of any minutes of the public hearing to signify adequate consultation of the affected communities. Number 2, failure to submit the environmental impact assessment study. The environmental impact assessment study is a comprehensive study of the significant impact of the project on the environment, including mitigation measures and programs that the proponent will fund and implement to protect the environment. To date, what the proponents submitted to the committee are the following: the public scoping document, Barangay Council resolution endorsing the project, and a position paper with signatures from residents of 4 barangays. The Sangguniang Panglungsod of the City of Cebu has full accountability to the people on the project's negative impact. The EIE study shall guide the committee on the carefully evaluating the request for a favorable endorsement. Absence of such leaves the committee without a reference on how the project would significantly impact the environment and whether measure to be taken could sufficiently address this impact. Number 3, proposed facility and site do not conform to the city zoning ordinance. A careful review of the city ordinance number 1656, otherwise known as the 1996 revised zoning ordinance of the City of Cebu, support the contention that power plants are allowed only in medium or high-intensity industrial I-2 districts. The proposed site of the project, Barangay Sawang Calero and its neighboring barangays, belong to the low-intensity industrial I-1 district. While exemption and variances on land uses may be allowed, granting exemption to a coal-fired thermal power plant in a densely populated community present a clear danger to the health of residents and the environment. Number 4, power plants are allowed to operate in the industrial I-3 zone under the 2013 to 2014 Comprehensive Land Use Plan, CLUP Guidebook of the Housing and Land Use Regulatory Board, its LURB. The LURB is mandated under Executive Order Number 648, Series of 1981, entitled Reorganizing the Human Settlement Regulatory Commission to promulgate zoning and other land use control standards and guidelines which shall govern land use plans and zoning ordinance of local government. Under the aforesaid updated CLOP Guidebook in Industrial I-1, zone is an area within cities or municipalities intended for manufacturing or production industries that are A, non-polluted, non-hazardous, such as drying fish, and B, non-pollutive, hazardous, such as manufacture of house furnishing and textile bag factories. On the other hand, power plants, thermal, hydro, or geothermal are categorized by the same updated CLUP guidebook as part of the pollutive, extremely hazardous industries that belong to the Industrial I-3 zone, a category which the City of Cebu doesn't have under its existing zoning ordinance. Recommendations: on the basis of the foregoing comments, the committee recommends the following. Number 1, resolve to approve the committee report. Number 2, resolve further to disapprove the request of the Ludo Power Corporation for a favorable endorsement for its 300 megawatt coal-fired thermal power plants to be located in Barangay Sawang Calero. And number 3, resolve furthermore to request the Environmental Management Bureau, EMB Regional Office, and the Ludo Power Corporation to submit report on the status and environmental compliance of the current 10 megawatt power plant inside the present Ludo facility in Barangay Sawang Calero. And number 4, resolve finally to request the Acting Secretary to the Sangguniang Panglungsod to furnish copies of this report to the Committee on Urban Planning and Development, Cebu City Zoning Board, Ludo Power Corporations, the Environmental Management Bureau, Central Office, and EMB Regional Office, and the Housing and Land Use Regulatory Board for their information and appropriate action. So move, Mr. Chair.
There is an omnibus motion of Member Cabrera, the chairperson of the Committee on Environment, seconded by Member James R. Quinco. Discussion? Objection? There being none, the motion is carried.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Member Wenceslao.
corollary motion, Mr. Chairman.
Corollary motion.
view of the objection and disapproval of the Committee on Environment, Mr. Chair, together with Member Richie Osmeña, we humbly withdraw our resolution endorsing the installation of the coal-fired thermal power plant in Sawang, Calero. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Under our House rules, we're not supposed to clap your hands, but we could not prevent, I think, your emotions and your sentiment. You are just excused now. But next time, do not clap your hands.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
There's a motion seconded by Member Gabuya Jr. Discussion. Objection. There being none, the motion is hereby carried.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Member.
2-minute recess, Mr. Chair.
2-minute recess.
Kailangan nito mag-recess, ani. Okay. Taas kayo itong lipuntahan to.
Adat imong committee report needs.
Let's resume in about a minute from now. Session is resumed. Madam Secretary,
Item
next.
H, completion of the business unfinished during the previous session. Item 1, proposed resolution of Member Tumulak.
Member Tumulak is not present. Who will take the cudgel for Member Tumulak if he's not around?
Mr. Chairman,
There's a motion to defer on behalf of
To
Member
defer
Tumulak
in
by
behalf of
Member
Member-
Abelia, seconded by Member Cuenco. Discussion, objection. There being none, the motion is carried.
Item 2, proposed resolution of members Richard Osmeña and Wenceslao.
This has been
Okay, the
withdrawn.
third item is the final deliberation on the proposed ordinance of Member Leah Hobson entitled An Ordinance Granting 10,000 Pesos Cash Assistance to All Public School Teachers as defined by the Magna Carta for Public School Teachers every year in the City of Cebu and providing funds thereof.
Member Hapson. Member Hapson,
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
you have the floor.
This proposed ordinance was deferred last week for the reason that there were some queries from this August body, Mr. Chair. Whether the state universities or colleges teachers, such as the Cebu Normal University, University of the Philippines Cebu Campus, Cebu Technical University, can avail of this cash assistance if this proposed ordinance will be approved. These universities or colleges are under the Commission on Higher Education, which handles the tertiary and graduate education. This proposed ordinance is for all Department of Education or DepEd, public school teachers only. This includes the teachers of Abeliana National High School, the Cebu City Science National High School, and all Cebu City Night High Schools. With this, Mr. Chair, I am humbly submitting my proposed ordinance for approval entitled An Ordinance Granting 10,000 Pesos Cash Assistance to All DepEd Public School Teachers as defined under the Magna Carta for Public School Teachers every year in the City of Cebu and providing funds therefore. With that, Mr. Chair, I move for the approval of this
There's a
ordinance.
motion of
Mr. Chair.
Member Hobson, seconded by Member Zafra. Discussion, objection. There being none, the motion is hereby carried. The ordinance is hereby approved. Madam Secretary, what's the next order of
Item
business?
I, resolutions of this August body approved by the Mayor, items A to N.
Member
Mr. Chair?
Yes, please.
Yes, I move to note items A to N.
There's a motion to note by Member Osmeña, item I, A to N, seconded by Member Zafra. Discussion, objection. There being none, the motion is carried.
Item J, consideration of the present business, letters and endorsements, items 1 to 11.
Member Osmeña, please.
Yes, I move to note items 1 to 11, Mr. Chair.
There's a motion to note, seconded by Member De Los Santos. Discussion, objection. There being none, the motion is carried.
Item 1, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Member
I move to
Osmeña.
refer this to Committee on Laws, Mr. Chair.
Referral to the Committee on Laws. Seconded. Member Zafra. Discussion, objection. There being none, the motion is carried.
Number 2, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I move to refer this, to give a copy to Mrs. Judith Florido for her information and guidance, Mr. Chair.
Referral, Member Osmeña, seconded by Member Safra. Discussion, objection, there being none, the motion is carried.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, please.
number 3,
Please.
item 3, Mr. Chair.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Move to refer this to the Committee on Budget and Finance.
The referral by Member Cabrera, seconded by Member Safra. Discussion, objection, there being none, the motion is carried.
Number 4, Mr. Chair,
Yes, go
refer to
ahead,
the
Member
proponent.
Andales.
Number 4, refer to the proponent.
The proponent, seconded by Member Safra. Discussion, objection, there being none, the motion is carried.
Number 5, Mr. Chair.
Number 5, please.
I request the SP Secretariat to give a copy of this to the letter sender, Mrs. Judith Florido, Mr. Chair.
There's a motion of Member Osmeña, seconded by Member Safra. Discussion, objection, there being none, the motion is carried.
On number 6, Mr. Chair,
Number 6.
I move to request the City Budget Officer to provide the Committee on Budget and Finance a copy of the response from the DBM once it has received that, Mr. Chair.
There's a motion of Member Osmeña, seconded by Member Safra. Discussion, objection, there being none, the motion is carried.
Number 7, Mr. Chair,
7.
I joint referral, Mr. Chair, to the Committees on Tourism and Culture and the Committee on Laws, Mr.
Joint
Chair.
referral to Committee on Culture, Tourism, and Committee on Laws, seconded by Member Safra. Discussion, objection, there being none, the motion is carried.
Number 9, Mr. Chair,
Number 9, please.
I move to jointly refer this to the Committee on Cooperatives and to the Cebu City Cooperative Development Council for the information and guidance,
There's a
Mr. Chair.
motion for referral, seconded by Member Safra. Discussion, objection, there being none, the motion is carried.
Well, all of number 10, Mr. Chair, letters A to I. This is really moot and academic,
yes,
Mr.
yes.
Chair.
Anyway, we have noted
Yes,
this already.
yes.
No need for further corollary motion anymore. So, with that,
On the number 11, Mr.
number
Chair,
11, yes.
I move to refer this to the City Treasurer's Office and to the Assessor's Office. Joint referrals, Mr. Chair, to the City Treasurer's Office
Joint
and to the
referral.
Assessor's Office.
To the City Treasurer and to the City Assessor's Office, seconded by Member Safra. Discussion, objection, there being none, the motion is carried.
Proposed resolutions and ordinances sponsored by the following city councilors. Item 12, proposed resolutions of Member Safra.
Member Safra, please.
Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you very much. Moving for its approval, item 12A to C in an omnibus manner.
There's an omnibus motion of Member Zafra, seconded by Member Osmeña. Discussion?
Well,
Discussion.
if the proponent will, Mr.
Yes.
Chair, be agreeable, can we refer this to the Committee on Budget and Finance?
All the three items, Member Andales.
Yes, 8 to
No problem, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Member Zafra. Referral to the Committee on Budget and Finance.
Item 13,
Item
proposed resolution of Members Arcilia and De Los Santos.
Members Arcilia and De Los Santos. Member De Los Santos, Member Arcilia is pointing at you.
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
There's a motion to approve jointly by Members Arcilia and De Los Santos, seconded by Member Osmeña. Discussion, objection, there being none, the motion is carried.
14, proposed resolution of Member Dizon.
Moving for its approval, Mr. Chairman.
There's a motion for approval by Member Dizon, seconded by Member Gabuya Jr. Discussion, objection, there being none, the motion is carried.
15, proposed resolutions of Member Abelia.
Member Abelia.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. For item 15A, moving for its approval, Mr. Chairman.
There's a motion for approval of Member Abelia, seconded by Member Zafra. Discussion, objection. Discussion.
Discussion we check.
Yes, Member Andales.
If the proponent will allow, can we refer this to the Committee on Laws?
Referral to the Committee on Laws. Which item, Member Andales?
15A. Yes, I will yield to that suggestion,
Thank
Mr.
you,
Chairman.
Member Abelia, for yielding the referral to the Committee on Laws.
For item B, Mr. Chairman,
Item
I move to refer this to the Committee on Laws.
Okay, item B. Next item.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Member Dizon.
on item B, apart from Committee on Laws, may I also move to refer this to the Committee on Housing.
Member Abella, would you yield?
I will yield,
Joint
Mr. Chairman.
referral. Thank you, Member Abella. Thank you, Member
Mr.
Dizon.
Chair,
Yes,
and
Member
also on
Gaboy.
item 15A, Mrs. Chair, move for
A.
reconsideration. It should also be
Consideration,
referred to.
seconded by Member Hafsafra. Discussion, objection. There being none, the motion is carried. Now
Should-
reconsideration.
Yeah,
what is the pleasure?
I move to refer this jointly to the Committee on Housing also, Mr. Chair.
Member Abella, also.
Okay, Mr. Chairman.
Joint
Mr. Chairman.
referral. Yes.
As far as item E is concerned, this has been referred already to the Committee on Housing, and the committee already rendered a report on this, Mr. Chairman.
Is it favorable, Member Dizon?
Is it? Yes, it's favorable, Mr. Chairman.
Already referred.
With that information, Mr. Chair, I move to withdraw my
Withdraw.
reconsideration.
Okay, so next item.
16, proposed resolution of members Abella and Wenceslao.
Members Abella and Wenceslao.
Mr. Chairman, together with Member Manchislao, I move to refer this to the Committee on Laws, Mr. Chairman.
Joint referral to the Committee on Laws. Members Abella and Wenceslao. Seconded. Member Safra. Discussion. Objection. There being none.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, discussion.
if the proponents will agree, may we also refer this to the Committee on Budget and Finance, Mr.
Also
Chair?
to the Committee on Budget and
Yes,
Finance.
Mr.
Member
Chairman.
Abella. Okay, joint referral.
17, proposed resolution of member Margarita Osmania.
Yes,
Member
Mr. Chair, I move
Osmania.
for its approval.
There's a motion for approval of Member Osmania, seconded by Member Hapson. Discussion, objection. There being none, the motion is carried.
18, proposed resolution of members Hobson and Cabrera.
Members Hapson and Cabrera.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before approving, Mr. Chair, minor amendments on the
Yes.
copy furnished to add Professor Pompeo Adamos III and Professor Alfredo Sohueta Jr. With that, Mr. Chair, moving for the approval of item
There's a motion of Member Hapson.
18, Mr. Chair. So
Moving
move with
for
Member
its-
Cabrera, Mr. Chair.
Moving for its approval as amended, seconded by
As
Member
motion, Mr. Chairman.
Safra. Discussion, objection, there being none, the motion is carried. And
As
as
motion.
proposed by Member Dizon, approved in mass.
19, proposed resolutions of member De Los Santos.
Member De Los Santos, please.
Mr. Chair, moving for its approval on omnibus manner items A to D.
There's an omnibus motion of Member De Los Santos, seconded by Member Abella. Discussion, objection, there being none, the motion is carried.
Item 20, proposed resolution of member Archival Sr.
Member Archival Sr., who will take the cudgel for Member Archival. Member Cabarubias, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Moving for the approval of item 20, Mr. Chairman. On behalf
Second.
On behalf of Member Archival
Archival,
Sr.,
Mr.
Member
Chairman.
Cabarubias is moving for the approval, seconded by, who seconded it?
Second, Mr. Chair.
Member Gabuya Jr., discussion, objection, there being none, the motion is carried.
21, proposed resolution of member Carillo.
Moving for
Member
approval, Mr. Chair.
Carillo. There's a motion of Member Carillo, seconded by Member Gabuya Jr. Discussion, objection, there being none, the motion is carried.
Amendment, Mr. Chair, I move to suspend the House rules.
There's
Mr. Chair.
a motion to suspend the House rules, seconded by Member Zafra. Discussion, objection, there being none, the motion is carried.
May I just read,
Go ahead,
Mr.
Member
Chair?
Osman.
Whereas on July 22, 2015, at 7:14 p.m., the late Tomas Carlos G. Villanueva III, 27 years old, was admitted at St. Vincent General Hospital after he drowned in the nearby swimming pool of the Cebu City Sports Complex. Whereas the victim was in comatose from July 22, 2015, until he died on November 30, 2015, after 135 days in the ICU of the said hospital. On October 13, the parents of the drowning victim sent a letter to Cebu City Mayor Michael L. Rama requesting for financial assistance for payment of their son's hospital bill. Whereas on March 8, 2016, the undersigned received a letter from the victim's parents dated January 7 of this year requesting for assistance for their unpaid bills, such as the hospital bill and others, amounting to 2,206,408.64 centavos. The SB heard the sentiments of the victims' parents during executive session on April 6, 2016, and how the request for financial assistance for Mayor Rama was ignored. The undersigned, together with members of the SP who were present in the executive session, agreed to help the parents since the facility where the accident happened is owned and operated by the Cebu city government. Whereas after conferring with the victims' parents, the amount they would request the city government to shoulder went down to 1,700,375.78. Resolved to request Mayor Rama to provide financial assistance to the parents of the late Tomas Carlos G. Villanueva III up to 1,700,375.78 to defray expenses during the confinement of their son at the St. Vincent General Hospital on July 23, 2015, up to November 30, 2015, subject to accounting rules and regulations. Resolved further to urge the city budget officer to look for an appropriate account where the amount can be charged, and furthermore to authorize the acting secretary to furnish a copy of this resolution to Mayor Michael L. Rama, city budget officer Marieta L. Gumia, and spouses Tomas and Cheryl Regina Villanueva, all of this city, for information and guidance. Together with member Philip Safra, I move for the approval, Mr. Chair.
There's a motion of Member Osmeña and Philip Safra, seconded by Member Gabuya Jr. Discussion, objection, there being none, the motion is carried. Any more? There is a motion to adjourn. Adjourn.
Before we leave,
yes,
Mr. Chair,
yes.
I'm.
Yes.
When can we have a budget hearing?
Yes.
No, not today.
Can we have it tomorrow? Tomorrow would be fine. Tomorrow, 2 o'clock.
Is 2 o'clock fine? Okay,
2
tomorrow
o'clock,
at 2
tomorrow.
o'clock. What you have? You have rally also tomorrow? You have
What's going to
wedding.
wed?
He, again.
Okay, so when do you want to have? Friday? Friday, 2 o'clock. Friday, 2 o'clock, please. Okay? Friday, 2
Fine with
o'clock.
me.
Yeah,
Friday,
budget-
2
2
o'clock.
in the afternoon, budget hearing.
Okay.
And
Also,
we have also, we are supposed to have a schedule, an executive
Executive
session.
session. May
But
we-
I'm sure you have received copies of the letter.
I know.
addressed, so that we
Na-
don't have to come back anymore. If
There's a letter?
there's a letter.
Yes, from City Market Authority from
I have here a
Ms.
copy of the
Raquel
letter.
Arce, Mr. Chair.
What? What?
That what the last paragraph says. I am sincerely hoping.
Can you please read, because
Please, Madam
she has
Secretary.
not attended, she has not accepted our invitation.
This is a three-page. This is a three-page letter.
3 pages. Copy-furnish na lang.
Can we just have all of you furnished, and in view of this letter, can we just dispense with or have another schedule? Just have another schedule.
Member Arcelia's,
Yes, Member
Mr.
Arcilia.
Chair, wa ko kadawat sa letter unsa to na, Mr.
I
Chair.
just received it now.
and then, may we also know who else were invited aside from,
Yes, we invited the city engineer, Attorney Jose Marie Poblete, the Manindahay sa Unit 2 Carbon Market. I'm sure they're going to come. Ms. Diwa Cuevas, Attorney Mark Rosal Salomon, and Dr. Lucel Mercado, Mr.
So
Chair.
in that
So it's-
case, should we postpone even with this letter, or should we just?
yes,
have
why
this
don't we
reset?
make it earlier, Mr. If we can ask them to come earlier, like
Okay.
now, we just go,
Can you call them?
yeah.
Try to call them, Mr. Chair, but I'm sure the Manindahay sa Unit 2 Carbon Market will be coming here around 1 o'clock, Mr. Chair.
Can ask them to come earlier,
Who
I'm
are
sure.
around now?
The
Kinsay naa din eh.
stallholders, the stallholders.
Resume.
Whoever is here.
Attorney Poblete, I'll call him.
Who's here now?
Not yet. Nobody's here
Nobody?
yet.
Because normally we hold our executive session in the
At 1
afternoon. That's
o'clock.
precisely the reason why they are not here yet. So we'll just come back at 1 o'clock for the executive session. Will that be? I leave it to the council. What's your pleasure if you have this? There is a letter here from Arce, Raquel
He never
Arce.
comes anyway, Mr. Chair.
Oh.
Nothing new.
So maybe, Member Arcilia, we can just have this rescheduled?
Actually, Mr. Chairman, wa ko kadawat sa letter ba ni Raquel. Ang akong puntuan ni Aba, more or less, pwede ni to ma-resolve with Ubo.
So,
unsay hinungdan nga nung...
You want to come back this afternoon at 1, or we'll just have this rescheduled next?
Kung karon, Mr. Chairman, ang time karon 10:40.
But normally they will come back. They will be here in the afternoon. That's the usual time that we hold our executive session. Okay. So we'll resume. What time?
Actually, Mr. Chairman ba, based on the kanang sa ato ganing budget hearing, supposed to be mahuman siya ang ground floor ug second floor with a cost of 168 million pesos. Ang sa ubos merchandise ang ablihan, no, unya sa second floor mga vegetables. Ang akong punto ba, gibiding 2013 until now wa mahuman unya ang number of days to comply ini nga project is only 360 days. So supposed to be April 2014, human na ni siya ang ground floor o ang second floor.
Balik ta launa, call obo, or 11 o'clock?
Kung naa sila silang opisina, Mr. Chairman, 11
So
o'clock.
we'll have a recess?
Actually, kadiyot yung any, Mr. Chairman.
We'll have a recess, then we resume after they shall have been summoned to come. There's a suggestion of Member De Los Santos, 15 minutes.
Yeah, we will just be informed, Mr. Chair. We will just be informed as soon as they arrive because we will be staying there in our caucus room.
Okay, the members of the council will just be at the caucus room, and then as soon as they shall have arrived, for whatever reason it is, kindly inform the members of the council at the caucus room.